Okay, I think that's good. Hey, there we go. Let's go live. We're actually live on our new YouTube channel. Listen, when I do this, I'm going to sap the audio out of the video feed. We're live right now, by the way, and I'll add intro music, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll add that to
Okay.
the podcast and everything. So hey guys, listen, Pro Sports Talk Live. It's me, Clay Evanson. I know you guys are excited to see me. Actually, nobody is. But we've got Scott Albin, both former pro baseball players. And and we want to start this podcast talking about baseball once a week, at least, well, sports once a week, because I got a couple other things to talk about as far as sports go. Um, we had to work through some issues, but we got this up going. I had an entire list, a bunch of articles and things I wanted to talk about, and I've lost them all. So, Scott, you've been up because I've restarted the computer, redone some
Right, right.
things. I lost all my links, had a ton of stuff I want to talk about, and I don't even know where they're at. What do you got for me? Tell me something.
Well, I mean, obviously the hot topic right now is going to be the trade deadline coming up here in 3 days. Not a whole lot of movement going on yet. Some, I guess, rather minor deals, if you want to call it that. I saw Sogard went to the Rays
Who's that?
from Toronto. Eric Sogard.
What position does he play? I have no idea.
He's second baseman.
Okay.
But that's probably the biggest one of the last 12 hours, 24 hours, whatever you want to call it.
What
So
did
not a whole
what did
lot.
they give for him?
I believe a minor leaguer, nothing much.
Okay. One of the people I was checking out that was a hot topic was Stroman, and
Yeah,
it looks like either the Yankees or the Astros. I don't know. I don't
right.
know
The
if you
only
saw
thing is,
that.
yeah, with the because what Toronto wants back in return is one of their top prospects, if not their number one prospect, and I don't know that Stroman's worth that.
Yeah, they
Um,
want Davy Garcia.
yeah, exactly, and that might not be worth it to the Yankees. Stroman's not he'll probably be a rental for the playoffs, and that's about it. So would you? I mean, would you give up your number one guy for a playoff run? I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what it would do is my Davy Garcia Bowman first print cards would go down in price really fast. Because a Yankee card's worth more than a Blue Jay card. It just is.
Right.
If Aaron Judge was playing in Toronto, he would not be as big a deal as he is playing with the Yankees. It's just
Correct.
it's just the truth. Same thing with Mike Trout being in Los Angeles. If Mike Trout played in
Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah, he'd be a great guy, and Baltimore would be lucky to have him. But his baseball cards be worth 50% of what they're worth right now. His jerseys would
Right.
sell half as much, half as frequently as they're getting sold right now. But
Right.
I did see something they were talking about Stroman going um, to the Astros. They're saying they would be. The Washington Post is saying that would be his best fit. Um,
It probably would. He's a sinker ball guy. The only thing I don't like there is that if that's his home stadium for the next 2 months, 3 months, whatever it might be, that's a short
he
porch
might give up
level.
a few bombs.
And yeah, so I mean, sinker ballers, especially with the launch angle being the hot commodity with all the
Right.
hitters, you throw it down in the zone, people get underneath it. That's their whole point of it. It's a short porch with just you just flip your barrel out there and get it, and there you go.
Yeah. Hang on. I want to look up Davy Garcia's stats. There's no mention in there
Well,
going to the Astros. The Washington Post doesn't mention who they would be interested in, but there were two people they were interested in with the Yankees. One was Davy Garcia. The other one, my brain's freezing up. Let me look up their roster real quick. It was the other one. The first one they asked for was Gleyber Torres, and the
Yeah.
Yankees were like, no.
No. Right. Yeah,
So
that's
their
not happening.
comeback was, well, then give us your gamble. We know he's number one pitching prospect in the organization, but they're like, give us your gamble, give us Davy Garcia, and it might happen. The Yankees, having been in their organization, are really, I don't want to say bad about it, but they do it quite often where they give up their top prospects um,
A
for a
rental.
rental. Yeah, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Guy I played with, Brandon Clausen. He was kind of like me when he got drafted. He was kind of a nobody. He was drafted in the 26th round. I was drafted in the 28th round. First year or two, I started out as a starter, got moved to the bullpen. He started in the bullpen, got moved to a starter a couple years later. And it was a chance opportunity. I mean, a guy got hurt, he got the start, never looked back. Ended up leading the entire minor leagues. I don't mean just the Yankee minor leagues. I mean every minor league pitcher in the country. My buddy went from 26th round draft pick to leading the entire minor leagues in strikeouts. I think it was like 260 strikeouts in one season.
Lord.
He went straight to top of the list, Baseball America's Yankees number one prospect. So his major league debut was in a day-night doubleheader against the Yankees or the Mets. And you know how they do that? They do one game at home, one game on the road. They swap stadiums in the same day. At least they used to. So he got the night
Yeah.
game for the Mets. Threw pitched the game, won the game 2-1, and got the winning RBI after not being a batter for like 5 years. The very next week, they traded him for Aaron Boone. Boom, gone. See ya.
Oh.
Went from being their
Yeah.
number one prospect to trade bait for Aaron Boone, who went on to hit a home run in the World Series and help the Yankees win the World Series. And they only played a couple games with him. But so anyway, I know I'm dragging on. The Yankees have a history of taking big time prospects, moving them for short term gain, winning World Series, and being like, "Hey, is what it is."
Right. And then you turn around and make him your manager.
Then you turn around and make him your manager. Yeah. So they might. It would not shock me if they go for Stroman and give up Garcia. I don't know what
Yeah.
the Astros would be willing to give up. I can't find anything online talking about it. But it would be a good fit for them with the Astros.
Yeah, it very well could be. Um, but only time will tell. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens in the next 36 hours or so. So it'll be interesting.
Hey,
Another
that's what I wanted to hear what you had to say.
another.
That's
what's
what
that?
I wanted to hear what you had to say next. I think I know where you're going next.
Well, one of the teams that's now I think is going to be a pretty heavy player in the trade market is going to be Tampa.
Yeah.
With Snell going down and he's out for the year, maybe more depending on what his injury is. I don't know if it's Tommy John or not, but they're pretty much out of it. It's going to take a lot for them, and they're struggling. They're kind of on the downslide here. But just looking at, I'm looking at their stats for their pitchers, and they got a few guys in the bullpen that are pretty alluring if you need some help there. So
Which the
one of
Braves really need help in the bullpen.
the Braves do. Of course, the one team that comes to everybody's mind with bullpen issues is
Yes.
the Dodgers, and how terrible they've been. But there's at least two or three guys on this Rays roster that could be beneficial for them down the road. And I was kind of looking at the Dodgers roster and their contracts that they have up to see who's free agents. They currently have 8 players under multi-year contracts. 8.
That,
So that's Clayton Kershaw, Russell Martin, Coltrane, if you
Coltrane.
remember him, uh, Kenley, Justin Turner, AJ Pollock, Rich Hill, Joe Kelly, and Kenta Maeda. Everybody else is either in an arbitration year or a
Wow.
free agent. Everybody. That's including all the outfielders except for Pollock. Seager, Short, Hernandez, Taylor, Ryu, everybody in the bullpen but Kenley Jensen, Bellinger, Muncy, Urias, Verdugo, Beatty. I mean, basically it's. I mean, it's
They're
they got a team full of free
are they
agents.
coming up for free agency this year, or they've only got a year left?
No, like with Bellinger, he's going into his first arbitration year, so he's not technically a free agent,
Right.
but with arbitration and everything, I mean, I would absolutely be shocked if he didn't get a multi-year deal out of this arbitration year.
You know, Bellinger's only making 600,000 a year.
Right.
605,000.
That's yeah. That I mean, they have. Let's see. I'm looking here. Excuse me.
It's pretty much the best bang for the buck in the big leagues right now.
Oh, right. So guys that are still on rookie contracts are. I'm just going with the heavy hitters: Bellinger, Muncy, Bueller, Urias, Verdugo,
Muncie's
Beatty.
still on a first year rookie contract.
Yeah, he's only making
Wow.
575. Yep. So you got Jock sitting at 5 million, Seager's at 4, and he's just coming off of Tommy John, so he's still not all there yet. But so here's my thing, because they're moving Jock around. Like today against the Nationals, Jock's playing first
Right.
base, right? They have, and I just went and watched Oklahoma City play last night against Memphis. They got 3 outfielders that are pretty legit sitting in AAA just waiting.
Okay.
So why not throw Jock in there? I wouldn't move Beatty. That guy's been a beast, but I mean, you still got Tolles. I don't know where he is. I haven't seen it. I don't know if he's still hurt or not. But I mean, you got some ability to move because of what you have just basically going stagnant down in Oklahoma City.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they got some room to move, but what's fascinating to me is you brought this up. I did not realize how cheap the Dodgers were achieving success right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, Russell Martin. So get this: he's 36 years old. He's got 5 years left on his contract from
Yeah.
Toronto. His average salary is 16.4 million. He's hitting like 210 right now.
That's his average salary per year. And
Yep.
and then
In this contract,
and then
in this contract, he signed with
and
Toronto.
in the meantime, the Dodgers have Bellinger. We'll go through the list, and they're not getting paid all that combined.
No. So
That's insane.
with yeah. So with the and honestly, with the emergence of Will Smith here, Russell Martin could be expendable at trade time or in the offseason because Will Smith has proven he can play. The other thing too is Kenley Jansen. He's got 5 years left, $80 million contract, 16 million per average per year, and he's not a free agent till 2022. So he's got 3 years left. So. I mean, I don't know if you could get any value for him, but if you throw him into a package and get some sort of guy that can close it for you, then I'd throw him in there because that just cuts a lot of your salary
Yeah,
down
there
for
was.
the next year for free agent.
I was reading in this. See if I can find it. Let's see, Dodgers. They were talking about. See if I can find it.
Well, I'll tell you what I found. I'd not
Ken
found, but
Giles. They were talking
I
about
saw
Ken
it.
Giles from the Blue Jays going to the Dodgers to fit
Yes.
in with Kenley Jensen.
Well, yeah, and that's very possible. He did well for the Astros during their World Series run. Um,
Well, apparently
but I mean,
they're
there's
saying
some.
he had a meltdown in the postseason though, and then it moved him out of the bullpen, or it moved him out of the closer spot for
Right.
the Astros, but that he's regrouped his career, and they think he'd be a great, I guess, setup man for Kenley Jensen.
Yeah, which is what they need. But Kenley's been so sporadic that I don't know. Could he possibly mold into that role if
He
Kenley's not the
he
same?
might.
Maybe.
Kenley scares me every time he gets in the game,
Yeah.
and well, at least
Yeah.
this year. At least this year, he's
Right.
scared me a little bit. Hey, walking us back, Davy Garcia, by the way, stats wise, where'd it go? 4 years in the minors, 2.99 ERA. Check this out. This is what's really impressive. His 4 years, his WHIP is 1.094, which is pretty spot on. 379 strikeouts. Guess how many innings?
12.
In 12 innings, you can't throw. Come on, dude. Come on. Play the game with me. No, 379 strikeouts, 265 innings. So he's got
Oh
over
boy.
100 strikeouts more than innings pitched in 4 years. He's got 110 walks, which is not crazy, but it's not, I mean, it's not perfect. But he's only given up 180 hits in 265 innings. That's
Mm.
insane. Let's don't look up my stats. If we look up my stats, yeah, that'll be an embarrassment. He's only given up a home run about every 16 to 18 innings, which is kind of crazy. But 4 years in minor leagues, he's done some time in AAA, AA, High A, all this year, by the way. And he's only held. He's 20. 20 years old. That's a
Mm.
lot to give up for Stroman, who has been hurt off and on every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not the same guy he once was. A couple of years ago, I would have been like, yeah, I'd take him
A
for
prospect,
three
yeah.
months, but I don't think he's that guy anymore.
The only way I would do that trade, I'd hang on to Garcia. I wouldn't do that. I might give up Torres if there was some clause in it we could lock down Stroman for 5 years, but I wouldn't do it without that.
Right.
I wouldn't do it for
Right.
3 months. There's no way.
Right.
But what else you got? You got anything else in the pipe going on in sports world this week?
I do. So in watching that game last night, um, the Memphis Redbirds had a pitcher going. His name is Genesis Cabrera. Remember
Okay.
this name. He had he's been in 5 games with the Cardinals. He's 22 years old from Dominican Republic. He's 6'2", 190, lefty. He was sitting from 98 to 96 for 6 innings in his outing.
Okay.
And his slider was anywhere from about 89 to 87 with his changeup about 86, 84. He made the Dodgers 1, 2, 3 hitters look absolutely stupid.
He's a right-hander or left-hander, you said?
He's a lefty.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's pretty filthy. So it looks like he was traded here. No, I'm sorry. No, he was in Memphis last year too. His ERA is a 6.38, but I don't see him as a starter.
You see him as a
I could see him as a baby Aroldis Chapman.
gotcha.
I mean, you sit there, you get him in there for 1 inning, make him a max effort guy. He's going to sit there at 90, 97, 99 with movement. and a good slider, and that's all he'll need.
Sounds like a good fit for the Braves, man. They need a guy that can combat the left-handed lineup for the Dodgers in the postseason. Bad.
Right.
Is he on the trading block or no?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't heard his name or seen anything about it. I did see about 4 or 5 scouts in the stands last
Yeah, I
night,
mean
though.
somebody's looking.
So I don't know if they're right. So I don't know if they're looking at him, if they're looking at DJ Peters, who had a terrible. He didn't have a good game last night
No.
against them. So DJ Peters is an outfielder for the Dodgers. That dude's a beast, though. He's like 6'6", 240, and can run. Again, another Dodger outfielder that's just sitting there waiting. But I'm telling you, I think this Genesis Cabrera kid, if I'm the Dodgers, I would be half pressed to go after him and just turn him into a late inning, 1 inning guy,
Or
from the
even
left
bring him
side.
in just to face the left-handed, hitters.
Right.
What you got on Noah Syndergaard?
Yep.
Is he going somewhere or no?
Um,
He's headed down. He's headed down
That's
year.
he has in his terms.
Well,
I
he's
guess,
sporting what is
but,
it? Like a no,
man
well, like a
bun.
4 point. Well, I've seen that too. Not a big fan of that. Um, 4.33,
4.33. He's 7-5 with a 4.33.
and he's typically for the past several years been under 3. I mean, they're saying best fit for him is the Brewers.
Yeah.
They've been decimated by injuries. They need another starter. But again, what would the Brewers give up?
I don't know. And and Syndergaard's not even a free agent until 2022.
So whoever,
So
if they moved him,
that
whoever got him would have him for a couple of years.
right. So I would think that the Mets would be asking quite a bit for him. With him and DeGrom, I mean, they got a pretty good 1-2 punch for at least the next couple of years. Yeah, but no, the Brewers would be a very good landing spot for him. The Dodgers have been brought up as possible suitors, but they don't need another starter.
Well,
As it is going into the playoffs, Maeda is going to go into the bullpen like last year. I mean, they just, Hill will be back. They got Bueller, they got Ryu, they got Kershaw. They'll be fine.
all right. So I guess switching gears, not totally switching gears. Number one headline on Bleacher Report this week. Is Bryce Harper ever going to live up to his $330 million contract? It's number one headline on Bleacher Report. I don't know if you ever visit Bleacher Report. I love it. It's kind of a different.
They got.
It's
they
kind
got
of a
good stuff.
different sports news website, but I guess they're throwing shade at Bryce this week, man. I guess he's batting like 250 something. This is not something unusual though. How many times you see these guys
Right.
sign these mega contracts and the next year just suck? I mean, just
Hank. Well, yeah. I mean, you got to consider one. He's going to a new place, right? He's got a new home. He's got a new team. He knows the expectations for him are to hit like 400 with 80 home runs and
you should
200
be hitting that
RBIs.
with that contract.
Right. And so whether he's feeling it or not, there's going to be that
Yep.
added pressure. And that pays a toll. That pays a toll on you. I mean, not only is the season a grind when you're playing 162 games, but then you add in that pressure of living up to, what is it, $30 million a year?
I mean, it's not just
that's a lot.
expectations. It's not just having fans hope you do well. It's the front office going, look, we paid this much for you. You got to produce.
Right. So then you're talking about return on investment at that
Yeah.
aspect as a as a business owner. So yeah, I mean you're getting it. I mean, as a player, you want to prove that you're worth your value. So you're going to try to do probably more than you're capable of. Um, and it just as well as I do in this game, you try too hard, it
But why
doesn't
get a
work.
Philly? Seriously. Let's have a real conversation.
Yeah,
Why get a Philly?
I don't know.
That's
I have no idea
that's where
why he chose that.
superstardom goes to die in Major League Baseball.
Right.
Like name
Yeah,
your
he
last all world superstar from Philly.
Brian
Yeah,
Howard.
but even his baseball cards aren't selling for $1,000. Mike Trout's got baseball
No.
cards that have sold for $100,000. So why get a Philly if it's not? How much money do you need?
Right.
Why not go play for a winner? I don't get
Yeah, I
it.
don't know. Well, and that's the thing is, maybe he chased the money, but they also could have promised
We'll
him
surround you with
that they're going to
yeah.
build around him and stuff. But as well as I do, you're paying one guy $30 million. I mean, it's going to be hard to build. I mean, I'm looking at the Mets right now. Since we're talking about Syndergaard, I'm looking at
Yeah.
their contracts. They have three players that are. Let me do my math right here. Where's my calculator? So they have three players that are combined $78 million.
Good grief. And where do
Three
they
players.
rank?
Where do they
Where
rank as far
where
as
where are
what?
they at in the standings with that kind of money
Oh, I
spent?
think they're second to last. Let me check,
Good grief.
if not last. Yeah, they're 12 and a half games out. They're 49 and 55. Well, so Cano is making 24 on average.
Golly.
DeGrom is at 2 point or 20, 27 and a half. Cespedes is 27 and a half, and Cespedes has been hurt all year.
He's been hurt for like
Then
3 years, hasn't he?
then you got Familia, their closer, who's sporadic
Right.
as all heck. You got him at 10 million. You got Jed Lowry at 10 million, and then you have Wilson Ramos, their catcher, at
And what
9.5. So
would you
you have six guys that make up over 100 million
and
dollars
tell
in
me
payroll.
what'd you say Cody Bellinger was getting paid? 600 grand.
600,
600
665.
grand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean,
oh no, he'll get
He'll
paid.
get paid
He'll
this
he'll
year,
get
probably.
yeah, he's gonna get paid. But the Dodgers figured out how to do what they're doing for an extended period of time. It's not like they were just good this year. They were good last year. They were good the
Right.
year before. I mean, they may not be winning World Series, but they're competing, and they figured out how to do it on this budget. I don't know if it's a scouting department. I don't know how they're doing it. It reminds me of the Atlanta Braves. Man, it does.
Yes.
And the Braves have done it since the mid '90s. Figured out how to compete. They may not win every year, but they figured out how to
Hmm.
compete and not having to spend $1 billion. It seems like the only way the Yankees can win is to spend 300 million a year, 400 million a year, whatever.
Right.
But you know what? It's not a stupid idea because they make it back because the market's there. But it
Yeah.
makes no sense for the Mets. What'd you say? 100 million on six guys, and to
Yeah.
be second place to
So
the bottom dweller.
yeah. So their total payroll for the Mets is $158 million. They're
And
ranked 10th
and
in total
100
payroll.
million of it's on six guys.
Yeah, and 39 million of it is on the
How
injured
much of
reserve
that?
list.
How much of that's still going to Bobby Bonilla?
That's a million a year, I
1.2.
believe, right?
1.2
Yeah.
until Jesus comes back. I think that's the. I
Right.
think that was actually in the contract until Jesus comes
Yeah.
back and raptures us all. It best contract in the world.
So I'm looking at team
Yeah.
payrolls right now, right? So the Mariners they're ranked
Okay.
12th. They're at 100. They're at 146 million dollars.
Okay.
55 million is on their 25-man payroll. 49 million, almost 50
Is on the
million
rest of
dollars
the 40 man?
is on injured
Shut
reserve.
up. You're not going to win a lot of games that way.
No,
Wow.
no, and then but they have. So I'm looking at it. So what is okay? So and then they have 39 million of their payroll is on the retained. So retained salaries are players released, bought out, or traded.
Oh my gosh, that's even
So
worse.
they have $39 million on their payroll for guys that aren't even on their team.
Oh my god. Hey, somebody,
That
we
is
need a new business manager over in Seattle.
that's higher. That's the second highest in the major leagues, and Dodgers are second at just underneath them by like 100, like nine
Yeah,
hundred
but
thousand.
the Dodgers have something to
So
show
I mean the
for it,
Dodgers.
though.
Well, right. So the Dodgers' salary is $197 million. They're ranked fourth,
Oh wow, I didn't know they were spending that much
and
money.
so they have 121 million on their 25-man
Okay,
payroll. They have 31 million in injured reserve, and then they have 39 in
all right.
retained.
So that puts a little into perspective, but the Mariners have how many guys they're paying millions of dollars to in Peoria, Arizona right now? And I know
Right?
they're getting paid $50,000 a day to stick their hand in a bucket of rice. I mean, just you remember the buckets of rice trying to get your oh my
Oh
gosh,
yeah, oh
sitting
yeah.
in ice baths
Try to
and
pick the trying to pick the colored ones out. So the Yankees,
what's their overall payroll? They got to be number one.
they're they're
They're
second.
second to
They're
who?
second. They're second to the Red Sox. To
Okay,
the Red Sox. So the Yankees' overall payroll is $217
okay.
million. They have 70 million of it on injured reserve. That is the highest in the league.
Holy crap!
142 million is on the 25 man, but they only have 3 million in retained, and then 5 million in buried. Buried are the guys that are in the minor leagues with major league contracts. So as far as that goes,
They're
as
doing
far
all right
as
on that.
like yeah, they're doing pretty good. Whereas the Red Sox have 177 million on the payroll, 25 man, 22 million on injured reserve, 20 in retained, and then 11
Wow,
buried.
20 and retained. That
And they're
means
at
$20 million getting paid to minor leaguers, right?
no, no, no. The retained is either they got
Oh,
traded,
gotcha,
released, or bought
gotcha.
out.
Okay,
Yeah,
is in the minors.
the buried money is in the minor leagues with the major league
Gotcha.
contract. Could you imagine that though? Just being in AAA, making $5
I
million a
played with
year.
a couple guys doing pretty close to that. That was insane. And some of them never even sniffed the big leagues, not one day. And I was just like,
Right.
man, I sat there. I remember one day I sat there, well, a couple times. One time, sat there and figured out I was making about the equivalent of half the salary of a McDonald's worker by hours, hourly wage. And then
Right.
the other was the Yankees had signed a contract with Smoothie King. So we had Smoothie Kings every day. And I was sitting there with a couple friends, and I figured out I was worth about a month's worth of Smoothie Kings to the Yankees. That's how much I was worth to the Yankees.
Yeah.
So it's crazy what they spend on this money. Man, speaking of which, I kind of wanted to switch gears and talk about a couple of things outside of baseball if you got time. and then we'll
Yeah.
we both got family stuff going on. I don't know if you saw John Gruden's speech the other day. Oh, dude, it's
No, I did
freaking
not.
awesome. Look it up if you guys just look up John Gruden Dream Crusher speech. He has this speech with his guys. I thought it was amazing. Some people might take offense to it. I don't know. But he basically got in front of the guys and said, hey, look, in the past, I've talked about everybody's got dreams and we got to work toward it. We got to. We got to work toward dreams. And he's like, I've decided that's the old way of thinking. I don't like it. And I am not big on dreams anymore. He goes, I'm big on crushing and destroying dreams of
Of other
other
people,
people. He's like,
opponents.
if you want to succeed in this, you cannot focus on your dream. You have got to focus on every minute of every day in camp, on the field, in games, in the weight room of crushing someone else's dream. Today, you have a dream, and there's 500 other guys that want to destroy your dream. And if you are focused on your dream and not destroying theirs, we're going to lose. And I was like, holy crap, I wish I'd heard this when I was coaching 12U football. I would have sat these 12-year-olds down and be like, everybody's got a dream. But guess what? We don't. We focus on crushing other 12-year-olds' dreams. That's what we do. Every hit,
Yeah.
every tackle, every catch, crush their dreams. And I was like, it's freaking awesome. So I put that in my little memory bank
Yes.
next time I coach. I'm just going to teach kids we're crushing dreams. We don't focus on your dream. You'll get your dream
No.
if you crush every other kid's dream. I thought that was awesome. You
Yeah,
you need to.
that is, and it. You gotta, as a coach, you gotta find different ways to get those messages across.
And motivate.
And sometimes flipping the script and turning it that way helps a lot more than just being like, hey, we got to go out and beat these guys. No, crush their
Yeah,
dreams.
I mean,
Like,
in your
that's awesome.
experience, how many times have you told kids, look, we've all got dreams. It's just who wants it more. You know what I mean? Like, focus on your dream.
Well, right, right. And I haven't necessarily talked about dreams, but I've talked more
Goals and-
about hurting somebody's
like that.
feelings today. Going out and being like, hey, the other team doesn't care if they beat you so bad that you walk off the field crying. They don't care. So
Yeah,
so
I
why
agree.
do we? Why do we care about the other team's feelings? Because the whole point is for us to beat them. And if we 10-run rule them in the first inning because we put up 22 runs, we did our
Yeah,
job.
and I'll tell you,
So they won't.
I'll tell
they
you,
won't
my
feel sorry for us.
mindset on the not running the score up has totally changed in the last several years. I used to be like you, were raised, hey, we're up 10. It's the fourth inning. We're not stealing. We're not scoring. That's the way we were raised. But,
Well, it was also a different time though too. Like we didn't have all these
True.
tournaments and travel ball and now pitch counts, inning restrictions, right? So when you go into a tournament and you're in pool play or whatever, and you have at least 2 games, well, you want to bury that team as quick as you can so you can
and
save on your
some
pitching.
tournaments you get seeded by how many runs you beat the other team by.
Correct.
But
Correct.
I do remember one game we
Yep.
were down 12 runs, 2 outs, bottom of the last inning, and we ended up winning. We beat them. We scored 13 runs
Yeah.
with 2 outs in the bottom of the last inning. And the other coach, I remember in the game, him stopping guys at third, and I thought, what? He's so classy. Good job. And then we beat him.
Right. And then it
Yeah, he should
Instead
have
of
poured it
pouring
on into the
right.
game early, but um,
I remember a coach that did that once. His name was Mike McCarthy. He is no longer with the Packers.
yeah,
But when they had the Seahawks beat in the NFC Championship game a couple years ago, and he pulled
oh
off the
my
throttle
gosh,
instead of trusting Aaron Rodgers to lead the offense, and they just had him. They had him beat.
Hey.
They were beating him, and then they went in. And then they went into like a dime package prevent, which opened up I think they rattled off like two back-to-back touchdowns on like 60-yard runs on the read
Yeah,
option
and
instead
as
of
I get
staying with what
older,
was
the more I
working.
learn. When you're playing sports, there's two rules: score as many runs as you can, stop as many as you can, or points,
Right.
whatever the game is. I mean,
Exactly.
think about the Falcons and the Patriots a couple years ago. Now, I would not say the Falcons pulled the throttle back, but it's evidence that I don't care if you're up by 34 points in third or fourth quarter. Don't stop scoring. Score, 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 or you might be in second place in the Super Bowl. And that's what happened to the Falcons. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. But
Yeah. Yeah.
no, you
You
can't
can't
let
let
up.
up.
Listen, guys, we're gonna try to do this podcast at least once a week. We love to have some of you guys on. Scott is amazing at research, looking up stats. I'm pretty good at just rambling way too much. But we'd love to have some of you guys with pro experience on. A couple things I want to touch on. I love football. My son loves football. My son plays baseball too. But a couple things in football. AJ Green is out 6 to 8 weeks with an ankle injury, which sucks. I'm a huge UGA fan. So I follow the Bengals with AJ Green. We've got
Not that the Bengals had a
no.
shot to begin with, but that pretty much
It
puts
pretty
them out
much
of it.
puts them out. I can't wait to see what Patrick Mahomes can do this year. I think it'll be interesting to watch. They've got him ranked highest of any player in the league. At least is in
In
what?
Madden,
No,
in Madden,
in Vegas. In Vegas to win the MVP award. Vegas has him ranked highest almost by double. They got him at plus 400 and Luck at plus 700 to win the NFL MVP this year. Um, I love seeing that Odell Beckham Jr. went to Cleveland. I'm a huge Cleveland fan now. I actually lived there for 2 years when I was about that tall, and I hated Baker Mayfield when he was playing against Georgia, but I've become a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm a huge Nick Chubb fan. Not a big Odell fan, but I'd love to see what Baker Mayfield can do with it. I got to run, guys. Scott's got to run. We got family obligations tonight. We'll get this up on podcast. We're going to be on iTunes. We're going to be on Spotify. It may take us a week to get there, but you can find us right here on the Pro Sports Talk YouTube channel. Scott, I got to go. I got kids knocking on the door, and
all
I'm
right,
sure
bud.
you got kids chomping on the bit there too. All right, we'll talk
Yes,
soon,
sir.
guys. We'll see you later. Bye.
All right.